Afternoon world, my name is Cole Davids. Trust all the champs are doing well. Just want to talk about something quick. I done a test not so long ago, and I found out that I'm half Nordic. My DNA is Norwegian, so that's the land of the Vikings. That's where the Vikings come from. And so I obviously embrace my Viking, Nordic, Norwegian DNA. So I looked more into this Viking thing. I never really had a fascination for the Vikings until I found out that I got Viking DNA, or just Nordic DNA. And I found out something very interesting. A lot of people are so thrilled with the Vikings. Everybody's watching the Viking series, and everybody wants to be a Viking, and people are growing their beards long and not bathing or not showering because they want to smell like a Viking. And that's a joke. But I found out something very interesting about the Vikings. The Viking age ended, and a lot of people don't know why. Well, I'd say a lot of information is kept back. The world only wants people to, know certain pieces of information, and they withhold the rest. So how the Viking age actually ended, the Vikings were never defeated. There was never a time in history where the Vikings lost, and that's how the age ended. That's not how the Viking age ended. How it ended was, a lot of them came to know Jesus Christ. In fact, all of them. There was such a revival within the Vikings. They all went from heavy witchcraft to paganism to now suddenly they dropped all their weapons, and now they picked up the weapons as according to Ephesians chapter 6. The weapons of our warfare. And instead of fighting a bad fight, now they started fighting a good fight, the good fight of faith, as the Bible talks about. And they started evangelizing, and they went all over the world. Only this time was not to kill people, was not to take over people's territories and bully people out. Now they travel the world preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. So at once they were like Paul. Like the Bible says, Paul, the guy that wrote more than half of the New Testament, at one point in time he's going to kill the Christians, and then he has a U-turn, and now he's going to save them. So that's what happened to the Vikings. They were at one point in time going around the world killing people, very vicious people. Now they're going around the world evangelizing, preaching the message of Jesus Christ. So people got quite confused. They couldn't understand it. They said, these are the same Vikings. We can't believe it. They were killing and mass murdering, and now they're preaching about peace. Now they're preaching about forgiveness. Now they're preaching about Jesus Christ and love. So people were confused, which you can imagine they would be. Even I would be confused. So the Bible says there's no Vikings in the Bible. So what happened then was they started killing the Vikings while the Vikings were evangelizing around the world, taking the gospel of Jesus Christ. So there were a few Vikings that weren't saved. This is according to history, but it was a very, very few, about of 100%, maybe less than 10% that didn't cross over. The bulk of the Vikings, there was such a great revival. They all sold out to Jesus, and in their mission of preaching the gospel as a means of revenge, all the other nations and a lot of other people started killing the Vikings, and that's how the Viking age ended. They were actually killed, or one would say they were persecuted for the gospel. And that's how, according to history, that's how the Viking age ended. So to find out, that I got a little bit of Viking DNA, which is 50%, which is half. That's massive. So if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have researched all of this and looked into the Vikings. So I just thought that would be an encouragement, because whenever people think about Vikings, they just think about these episodes on TV of these cruel people. But if you didn't hear it here first, there's a lot of Jesus Christ written all over the wall when it comes to the Vikings. I just thought I'd share that. It's quite interesting.